Hi again folks, how are you all doing? This is a Heljan Class 07 Shunter that was sent to me by Richard. He told me that the worm gear isn't engaging with the drive gear, so this doesn't run. He's had a look inside but couldn't figure out how to get to the motor, and he also said he wasn't able to find any video or other information online about how to get to the motor in this model. So he's asked if I'd have a go. Well, let's turn on the power. Yeah, the motor's spinning away. How the motor's become disengaged like that is a little bit worrying. I suspect a wee drop or a bash in transit. Let's shove it into the shed and we'll see if we can figure it out. Right, a wee Heljan 07 Shunter. Not looked at one of these before. Very nice little model. You can say what you like about them, but Heljan do make very nice looking models, it has to be said. This has got a wee pipe missing at the front. It should be the same as that one there. I think it's in the box. So we can pop that back on. It's the drive gear. A little bit of detail inside the cab. Yeah, it's a nice little model. And the problem apparently is the motor is disengaged from the drive gear. So we shall investigate. Had a quick look at the instructions for this. For fitting a DCC socket, this comes off like that. And I think there's screws underneath. So we've got screws on that keeper plate. And there's two wee screws there and there, and two screws there and there. And there is the motor. So there's the worm gear. You probably can't see on camera there, but it's just missing that that gear there. It's not the drive gear, it's one of the intermediate gears, but it's just not quite engaging. So it's probably just a case of just giving the motor a wee shove to get it back in position. We'll see how Heljan have secured the motor. Might be one of its sort of rubber grommet jobs. We'll see. So I think we need to get this off. And there's two little screws on the underside there. I think we'll undo them. And I'm pretty sure that cowling's going to come off. There it goes. Those screws going to come out? Nope. What have we got here? So we've got a metal insert with this PCB, and the wires coming down there. A couple of screws. So I think we undo these two screws. Hopefully this will lift out, and that might give us access to the motor. We shall see. Undo that. And undo that one. This metal insert is kind of clipped in at the front there. So I think we have to lift it up at this end. If we can. Right. It's coming, I think. Right. I think we're winning. That thing comes out. And it's held in with the wires. Kind of typical of Heljan's. Let's just see if I can. There. Got that out of the way. Just that loose screw fell down in there. Please don't fall any further. Oh, no. Well, we'll dig it out in a minute. But yeah, the motor is, as far as I can see, is kind of just held in place with this. So I think we just need to try and push it down and maybe pack up with something to get a bit more downward force on it. Right, can I get that screw out? There it goes. Yeah, if I push that down, will this run on the track now? So with the motor just pushed down to where it should be, does this run? Yep. So I think all I need to do is to put something in here to pack this up a bit and provide a bit of more downward force on the motor when I put this back in. And that should be it sorted, I think. What have I got to pack that out? Trying to think of something to pack. Oh, I know what to use. I know what to use. Just the job. A bit of self-adhesive Velcro. Just cut a wee strip, stick it in there, and I think that'll do us. There we go. Right, try and get this back without breaking any wires. My concern is the Velcro might actually be too thick. Right, so that's engaged. Is that going to let me get this down? It is. I just hope it's not too much downward force. Once you disturb these wires in one of these Hellions, you can never get them back as they were. They just don't like being disturbed, but that'll probably be okay. Right, let's just see if this fits. Okay, I think I'm going to get a wee bit of gear oil in there. Let's just see if this runs okay. Nope, the motor's too tight. I was kind of afraid of that. So the Velcro's not going to work. I need something thinner. I'm thinking maybe just a bit of tape, to be honest. A bit of duct tape or something might do it. Right, okay. So the idea is fine. I just need to get something in there to just give that a wee bit more downward force, but not too much. Put 2 layers of tape in. Just to act as a bit of a shim. Actually, do you know what's happened? It's this screw isn't tightening, it's stripped. And because it's not tightening, this whole thing is lifting up. That's what the problem is. I'll just leave the tape, it's not going to do any harm. But I think we need to get these screws out, and I'll try replacing them if I've got screws that'll fit. Right, they're both out. So it's not actually the screws that strip, it's the hole in the die cast, because die cast is very soft and it's very, very easy to over tighten one of these wee screws, and it just strips the hole. So sometimes just putting a new screw in is enough to grip. So we'll see what we've got. These screws are a tiny wee bit bigger, but a little bit shorter. And they're biting into that die cast nicely. So there we go. See if that works. Oh, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it's still not engaged, and that, you know, this metal insert is now screwed down as far as it'll go. So I need to go back to the idea of packing it out. So the tape wasn't enough. The Velcro was too much. So we'll need to find something in between the two. I don't like disassembling and reassembling and disassembling and reassembling very delicate models like this, because you know, the chances of actually doing some damage is pretty high. So yeah, you don't want to take these things apart any more than you absolutely really have to. So try not fall into the trap of just messing around with them, because you'll end up just making a mess of it. Right, got the hang of taking this out now though. That out, that comes out like that. See, I mean, these wires will only, you know, withstand so much jiggery faffery. Right, we'll take the tape out. Got a bit of heat shrink here. Wonder if I can secure that in. Right, just taped on a wee bit of heat shrink. That'll hopefully just shim this enough to push that motor down to where it should be. Right, so that's screwed in as far as it'll go, and we've got a wee bit of heat shrink just to shim it just a little bit. Let's see if this runs now. Right, is this going to go? Yes. Right, success. Yeah, just a bit of a fiddle just to get the right amount of shim in there. The Velcro was too thick, tape on its own was too thin, but a wee bit of heat shrink, just the job. And also the screws were a bit stripped, so they weren't holding this thing down. I think that was probably the original problem. You know, this metal insert lifted up and the motor came up, and the gear that the worm engages with has probably got a little bit stripped. So we've had to clamp it down nice and tight to get the gears to mesh, but the Velcro was clamping it down too tight. Oh dear, this is going to be a bit of a fiddle. Get these wires back. There we go. Now, got a wee bit of pipe work to sort. So, in here, we've got the pipe that's missing from this side, but we've also got a loose pipe on the top there. So let's see if we can get it back without breaking it. Might have to take that cab out again, I think. Yeah. Take that off again. Yeah, see, it's come right out. Yeah. It's kind of held in with the cab, so when I removed the cab, it just slipped out. It's not broken. Right. Push this down again. So. Right, so it goes in there. I think I might need to double up my specs here. Sometimes I just need a bit more. Right. Yeah. There we go. Did it. It's got a wee bit of a wobble going around the curves anyway, but there's quite a lot of play in that. So, yeah, I don't think there's an awful lot we can do about it. It's okay there, and it's okay there, but yeah, going around the curves it wobbles a bit. So there we go, that's this nice little 07 sorted out. Yeah, I think the screws on that metal insert have just got a bit stripped and it lifted up and the motor just came up with it. So it's just been a case of fitting in some new screws to clamp that down again, but I think the gear underneath the worm gear got a little bit stripped. So shimming the metal insert just brought the motor down a little bit and just needed a wee bit of experimentation to get the right amount of shim. But there we go. We'll go and pull this out the shed. Alright, so that's Richard's Heljan 07 sorted. A combination of stripped screw holes in the chassis, resulting in the motor lifting up and disengaging with the gearbox. Some new screws and a little packing to add more downforce on the motor sorted it out, and I refitted the loose handrail, and job done. Off camera, I also adjusted the pickups a little bit, as a couple of them weren't touching the wheels properly, but otherwise this is a really nice little model. Very delicate though, it needs to be handled very gently. Runs well at a nice slow speed, which is what you want from a shunter. Okay, I shall get it packed up and sent back to Richard. Catch you later, folks.